There we go. Hello, everybody. Okay. How are you? I have a new microphone, so if this is too loud or too quiet, please let me know in chat. Yeah. How's everybody doing? It's been a week since we've been here, and yeah, I guess not a lot's changed in that week. I'm kidding, of course. It feels nice to be here. We're back. We did take Wednesday off because we didn't know certain things, and now we do, and it's better. So, hello, Liz. It's certainly been a week. Yes. Looks like OBS is being a little laggy, but it shouldn't be too bad. I hope everyone is well. I hope everyone is, well, staying safe. Still a pandemic, after all. But yeah, I don't have anything on the screen, obviously, because I was going to ask chat what they wanted to see today. And right now, I'm not sure if anyone else is in chat, but we have Liz. I'm not sure if Marty or Soup are in chat. I'm not sure if they will be either. So I'm gonna adjust my microphone slightly. I hope that's okay. It's not. I can show. Krista got me this for my birthday. I can show it to you. It's on a boom. Look at that. So now, and if I hit it, there's like a shock thing. I don't know if you could hear me tapping it, but there's. So now I won't knock it over. I can't knock it over so much anymore. So, but it's right in front of me. That should be good. Yeah, it's off camera. And if I wanted to, I can. It came with a little tripod, which is what my old microphone used. My old microphone was great, lasted me well for 2 years. I do think it was starting to slowly die. Maybe if all the times I accidentally knocked it onto the ground. But if I ever need a second microphone for whatever reason, I still have one, and it's nice. Okay. So, I don't know why. Let me change. My settings shouldn't be that high. Yeah. Oops. Well, let's try that. See if that works any better for stability. It is a cool mic. Thank you, Liz. I hope it sounds okay. As I said, I hope I'm not blowing it out. I don't have my... It came with the windscreen, but I don't have the pop filter on. Pop. I'm sure that popped. Because I didn't want to... I have enough on my desk. I didn't quite want another thing, but I can... Luckily with this, I can just kind of extend the arm fully, so it's just hanging out like over here while I'm using my desk normally. But also, hopefully, maybe this won't pick up as much of my keyboard as the last mic did. There was a lot of typing sounds, and that's one thing when it's just me. But when it was me and Marty, I felt self-conscious about it because you could hear me tip-tapping away, and he was trying to talk. I was about to tell a mostly pointless story, so I'm not going to do that. I don't know if you can hear my cat. He's very upset that he can't be in here, because up until about 10 minutes before the stream, he was laying on my little wrist pad for my wrists when I type, because the edge of my desk is sharp, so I need a little. And he was very happy. He usually does it to me back there on my work computer, where I have the same wrist pad. Oh, he's a good boy. Krista should be upstairs. Krista should be out of her class soon, and she can give him the attention he needs. Okay. Oh my God. Break. He stopped. I was gonna say I I might let him in, but you're just gonna hear purring, which I mean, granted, is probably better content than this. But it's been 5 minutes of me rambling. Okay, so I put this to chat. We have 3 different things we can talk about today. I have a new campaign setting I've been working on very briefly. It is Arthurian in theme, not necessarily legit Arthurian. It's very Arthurian, inspired and themed. There's that. We can talk about Odyssey of the Dragonlords. Nope, that's yep. Odyssey of the Dragonlords, which is a setting for a potential upcoming game on this channel. I say potential only because we haven't hammered out all the details yet, but I do expect you will be seeing something of this probably before the new year and then continuing into the new year. Not run by me, though, so we'd have to talk about what character I would play. I have a couple ideas for there. I've built a couple in D&D Beyond, so we can talk about Odyssey of the Dragonlord, kind of go through some stuff about it, talk about the setting, ideas, and such. And then the other thing was, the other option is, I got, oh boy, kill a man with this book. I got Dungeon Crawl Classics for my birthday. You can see how ridiculously thick it is. And that is a fantasy role-playing game, similar to Dungeons and Dragons. It is decidedly more old school. It's technically built off 3rd edition rules, but it's not like 3rd edition. All OSR games, old school revival games emulating kind of 70s and 80s Dungeons and Dragons are technically built off of 3rd edition because that's the one that opened the license. So yeah, we can talk about one of those 3 things, or I mean, we don't have to talk about any of those. We can talk about whatever you want. This is Dungeons and Dragons, or Dungeon Crawl Classics. But yeah, let me know what you want to hear about. Otherwise, I'll roll a die and figure something out. I hope everyone is doing well out there. I hope everyone is, doing well. Staying safe. There's still a pandemic. It's getting worse, it seems, again, especially as we roll into flu season. Got my flu shot finally this week. I went to CVS. I made an appointment at CVS. I went to CVS. They're like, yeah, we don't have it. We only have high dose for old people. And I was like, I made an appointment on your website. They're like, yeah, well, we don't have it. I'm like, well, okay, that's fine. I'll go to Walgreens or whatever. But, you shouldn't let me make an appointment on your website. And, the person who was working at the pharmacy was like 21 probably. They're like, yeah. And I was like, okay, I mean, like I know this isn't your fault, but can you toggle a switch that says I can't make appointments anymore? Because you're going to get a lot more people coming in and being like, can I get my flu shot? Glad you got your flu shot early, Liz. I usually get it at work, because they give them for free at work. They come usually at the end of October, so I didn't get it too late this year because I got it this week, so maybe a week later than I usually do. They usually come at the end of October. They just set up in one of the conference rooms and you just make an appointment and you walk in, you get a flu shot. They give you a sticker and you get 5 minutes off of work to recoup. And then, you go back to your desk. Obviously, we couldn't do that this year because I've been working at home since March. Okay. Liz says the Greek epic setting thingy. So let's do that. Nope. That's nothing. I have a window capture for nothing. What is that window capture for? It doesn't matter. Window capture 8. Okay. sit back. Hold on, let me hydrate briefly. Okay, downside. I gotta remember to reach under the boom. My arms aren't long enough to reach over it. Okay. Let's talk about Odyssey of the Dragonlords, the Player's Guide. This is available free on DriveThruRPG. Your guide to exploring the hidden continent of Thylia. Thylia? I assume Thylia. For the world's... Thylia? For the world's most popular role-playing game. 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons. They can't say that on the cover for whatever reason. This is ASMR now. Okay. So we have an Amazonian on the cover with her robot bird. This kind of Hercules dude, or Hector, maybe. Probably Hector, although he's got a little Sparta helmet. Credits. James Olin and Jesse Sky both worked at BioWare for a long time. So this is from BioWare alum. All of the illustrations are great. This book is full of great art, so congrats on everybody here. So welcome to this book. Welcome to the Player's Guide of Odyssey of the Dragonlords. Oh, okay, so this was a Kickstarter from a couple years ago. And they released a big adventure and campaign book, and then you can get the free Player's Guide, which has a setting overview, bunch of new race options, and a subclass for every class, except for Artificer, but every core class of Dungeons and Dragons. And then it is now published by Modifius. Move. Trying to lean. Dungeon Crawl Classics is in the way. There we go. Okay. Everything you need to build a hero. Heavily inspired by Greek mythology. I think we'll see that going forward. Odyssey, the Iliad, Jason and the Argonauts, the Orestia. However, it is not ancient Greece. There's no Zeus, Athena, Apollo. Yeah, there's some very different... There are some different ideas, and it's clearly a mishmash of a bunch of different inspirations. And that's good. That's good. It's got monsters in Greek mythology. But it still has high fantasy trappings of like elves and stuff like that. So let's see. I don't want to just read it verbatim because you can do that. That's for the main book. Okay, you can see there are 3 chapters, or not 3 chapters. There are 7 chapters. History of the world, heroes, more hero stuff, classes, the Oath of the Dragonlord, the World Primer, and then what is Mystic Heroism. Let's go to the World Primer. Now, what? Why did it... I had it all set up so we could read it. Okay, so this is nice. This is repeat, because I've read through most of the book at this point. This is basically a repeat of a lot of the stuff from earlier. But you can print this out 1 page. Nice to have. Let's go back to the front. Okay. Oh, James and Jesse say some stuff here. Yeah, inspired by the Odyssey, Dragonlance, Tolkien, Lieber, Howard. Yeah, Howard. Yeah, okay. Okay. So basically, I'll sum up this stuff. So the original inhabitants of Thylia, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, are the gods are titans. There's a couple of them, and then it's like centaurs, cyclops raiders, satyrs, minotaur. It's kind of the classic monsters of Greek mythology. And then one day, dragons showed up. Powerful bronze dragons, each bearing a champion from the old world. They were the Dragonlords, and they heralded an upheaval that would forever change the history of the Forgotten Land. Miko. So they kingdoms started cropping up around them, and then the dragons are heroes. Well, just you wait, Liz. They're not gonna last. Everywhere the dragons were greeted with adulation because they kind of helped fight the Titans, where mortals had lived in fear of the Titans for a long, long time. I don't know why I'm saying Titans weird, but okay. So then there's a great boar. And this is, I think, hold on, let's see. The first war begins. Okay, so the first war begins. The Titans kill all the dragons and the Dragonlords. The humanity, or mortals, start to lose the war until 5 gods appear in the land and kind of kick the ass of the Titans. Titans are still a thing, though, because then there's a peace. Oh, the Dragonlords didn't die, just the dragons did. Sorry. I don't know this forwards and back yet. Let's see. Each of these new gods manifested some portion of the power that had once belonged to the Titans. There's a god of war, a goddess of wisdom. Okay. And then in the end, Mitros, the goddess of dawn, sacrificed herself and ascended into heaven. And the other 4 gods still roam the planet. Okay. So then they make a peace with the Titans, and everything has been okay for the last 500 years. But the peace is only supposed to last 500 years. So we pick up 500 years later, and people are worried that the peace is going to kind of crumble and that the Titans will take over again. So let's see. The remaining Dragonlords became kings and established dynasties to rule over new cities. As the worship of the 5 gods spread, so did their power over the land and oceans grow, until every village boasted shrines to some of them, and the Titans waned in power. With the imminent end of the Oath of Peace, the Oracle has prophesied the doom of Thylia, the death of the gods and the destruction of the sacred tree, the total annihilation of all mortal races. Players in this campaign will take on the role of a group of heroes who have been summoned to the Temple of the Oracle in an attempt to avert this catastrophe. Or catastrophe. Adventurers who explore the ocean, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so one of the things about this setting is it basically, right here, it says this isn't necessarily a whole campaign setting. This is an area you can put in your campaign setting or in the Forgotten Realms Greyhawk, that kind of thing. It's just you just put it in the ocean somewhere, and there is this little. Let's see if there's a map. Yeah, there's this area right here, and you go through a storm to get here, and you wind up here, and it's just different than where you were. They have their own gods and titans, and they might have races you're unfamiliar with, like sirens and centaurs and stuff like that. But the idea is it could be in your own setting, so you can play someone native to here, or someone who kind of got shipwrecked here, or purposefully came here. Maybe if they're like, if in your campaign setting it's like, well, there's a big storm over there, and you're like, well, I sail into the storm. Okay, this is where you end up. So that's nice that it's flexible in that way. I mean, to me, I think there's enough here that it could be its own. You don't really have to worry about what's out here, especially if you're all playing people from here. Doesn't really matter. But yeah, I can see why they did that. It's not huge. Is there a key? Of course, there's not a key. Folks, put a key on your map, please. Yeah, I don't know how big these are, but let's say, typical. Well, if that's a buffalo or whatever, that's a centaur. That's not very big. Mountains are tiny. I'm joking, obviously. Okay. So, in the ancient Titans, or Thylia. Boy, do I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Great Mother of all, the namesake of this place. She takes the form of a gargantuan tree on an island in the heart of the Cerulean Gulf, and her followers believe that her roots reach deep into the earth, binding the world together. So she's kind of the one of the Titans who are, like, nice. She's kind of the nicest of the Titans. She's a creator goddess, basically. She's a big old tree. Druids like her. And then there's this creepy dude. Look at all his arms. Look at these. That's not okay. What are you doing there? Get out of here. Run. Run from this thing. He's Ketamane, the 100-handed. He was the most powerful of the Titans. He's believed to be both the husband and the guardian of the Great Mother. Many references are found to him in the poetry of the Gaians, who are, I think, 6-armed cyclopses. I think that's what it says somewhere. They're cyclopses. They're ancient cyclopses, but I think they have 6 arms. I remember saying that for some reason, or 4 maybe. But few credible sources. Ketamine. It's ketamine. Ketamine is usually depicted with 100 heads and 100 hands. I see like 4 heads. Where are the rest of the heads? 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. I see like 6. I mean, I see all the hands. Gross. Good old vitamin K. Hi, Marty. Sidon, Lord of Storms. Maybe they're under the arms. Gross. Do you think they're all just like holding hands, and that's how they're all being held together? This thing is terrible. Run! What are you doing? Okay. The Lord of Storms. Pretty classic Lord of Storms and Oceans. Takes the form of a colossal bearded man with 3 eyes, carries a terrifying black glaive. That's not classic, but that's cool. Surveys both land and water tirelessly, summoning storms to punish those who displease him. Sidon is a jealous, vengeful god who makes no allowances for the worship of any god but himself or his sister wife. Oh, Greek mythology. Lutheria. So he runs on fear, which is always a good story. Is a rather a classic storm god thing. Lutheria, the Lady of Dreams. Lutheria takes the form of a beautiful black-eyed woman who sleepwalks through the underworld, greeting the spirits of the dead. She carries a crystal scythe, which she uses to harvest the souls of those who displeased her in life. Lutheria commands her followers to live without remorse, drink, dance, and feast to their heart's desire, because any day could be their last. She is a mother to the Fey races of Thylia, who she strongly favors. See, I think she's listed as chaotic evil here. I might have to let him in. Chaotic evil, yeah, like that doesn't like I don't know that description. Is very evocative, but she's kind of combining like Bacchus and Hades together. Maybe a little Persephone Kore kind of thing. Like, I don't know. Like, I just don't quite get. I think she's kind of cool. Like, I want to create a cleric to her and not be, like, yeah, I don't know, mean or evil. Like, I don't know. Okay, 5 gods. And then here are the 5 kind of gods that most people worship in the current days. Mitros, goddess of the dawn, the Silver Queen, most benevolent of the well, they're all pretty nice. Most benevolent and patron goddess, that should probably be matron goddess, of the most important kingdom in Thylia. She is widely credited with the survival of the city during the destruction and aftermath of the First War. Is this what she looks like? Yeah. She's kind of a warrior queen vibe. Pretty cool. And she died in battle and was ascended to the heavens. So she no longer walks among the mortals, but is allegedly the most powerful of the gods. And most priests worship her, it says. Vulcan, god of the forges. Vulcan. Not much is known about Vulcan, except that he is the husband of Mitros, concerns himself with artifice and crafting, and is primarily worshipped by dwarves, smiths, and wizards. He is depicted as an elderly and wise-looking man, sometimes a dwarf, rumored to travel through the heartlands on winter solstice, distributing toys and sweets to children. So there's Sansa. Pythor, god of battle. The son of Mitros and Vulcan. He's the god of battle. I gotta... and he's the father of a crap ton of demigods, because of course he is. And he is the current king of Astoria, because he overthrew a mad tyrant. Are these not in alphabetical order? That's annoying. Sorry. That just bothers me. Okay. Valis, goddess of wisdom. Valis is revered as the goddess of wisdom and beauty, and she's believed to know as much about Thylia's history as Sidon and Lutheria. So she's a history goddess as well. That makes sense. She was once known to travel far and wide. The eldest daughter of Mitros. And she is inherited her mother's legacy, serving as both queen and patron to the city. They are, as far as I can tell, not in any kind of order list. I think they might be in like order of kind of power, I guess, because she's kind of the most important. He's the second most important. They got and then the bottom 3 are just kind of, but they don't. The bottom 3 to me are like kind of all equal. I don't know. They are in no order. Here, no, they're not even in the same order here. Sorry. These two, these are in no order. They're at least in the order that they were presented up above. But these aren't. Oh boy. It's fine. Everything, it only bothers me, I'm sure. I'm sure it doesn't only bother me. Kira? I'm gonna go with Kira. Kira is revered as the trickster goddess of music and poetry. She's the swiftest of all the gods, Mercury, capable of disappearing in the blink of an eye. I'm sorry, Hermes, for being Greek. And she can travel great distances with each step. Her voice is said to be more beautiful than any musical instruments. Pardon me. And there are very few shrines to her except among bards who revere her as the muse. Okay, and then we have the clerics and domains appear. So Thylia, the Great Mother, is the nature domain. Kentamane is the non-existent destruction domain. That's not a thing. And it's not in this book. Sidon, Tempest, Lord of Storms. Lutheria, Lady of Dreams. Death. I get death. But, death, grave, twilight. That's new. Mitros, life and light. Makes sense. Forge. Makes sense. War makes sense. Trickery makes sense. And knowledge makes sense. Okay. The next section goes through some of the mortal kingdoms. So Mitros, named after the Twitch. No, did I not update it? Thank you, Sib. Enjoy your dinner. I must not have hit update. I did fill in the new information. Although I could fill in even more because the original one was, I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay. Mitros. Let's see. It's Athens. Largest city in all of Thalia. The center of commerce, religion, and politics. The great games are held outside the city once a year. The Temple of the Five stands at the center of the city, but in recent years, the worship of the Lord of Tempest, Sidon, has been growing in popularity. The Titan now has his own grand temple that stands across the street from the Temple of the Five. No. A Wendy's open across from the McDonald's. Mitros is ruled by the mighty King Acastus, the last true descendant of the Dragonlords. Acastus is revered all across all of Thalia and is the husband of the Queen Valis, wisest of the five gods. Through some miraculous feat of magic, he's recently resurrected dragons, which were thought to be extinct since the end of the First War. He now seeks to rebuild the Dragonlords. And he's married to this lady, who's a goddess. I don't know if this is her first husband or what, but she's been around for 500 years, and I'm sure he hasn't. Oh, pardon me. Next up, Kingdom of Astoria. And the king of Astoria is Pythor, the mightiest of the five gods, the god of war. And he overthrew a fascist despot, I think, at some point. I think it's the backstory there. And they're a kingdom of warriors. Aresia has long been a rival to Mitros. The two have engaged in dozens of wars over the last several hundred years, which are collectively known as the Aresian campaigns. And they hate each other. They have monks. Let's see. I mean, that's pretty much it. They just don't like each other. Nothing else in there. And then barbarians, kind of all around. So the factions: Temple of the Five, I guess, clerics and priests dedicated to the five gods. Oldest civic building, elected representatives from the districts of Mitros and the outlying villages. Form a council that meets at the temple every new moon. However, the pattern of civic life is increasingly dictated by the Order of Sidon, who believe that the Temple of the Five should be destroyed in order to appease the Titans. King Acostus has taken no sides in this conflict. You're married to a god, dude. You're not going to take your wife's side? That's a real dick move. Also, the gods are like I know the Titans are real, but the gods did it before. Like, I don't know. Like, side with them. Side with the not bad ones. Here's Astoria. Kind of a smaller city. The Centurions of Mitros. Centurion is an interesting word choice, since that's more associated with Rome, I would say. And yeah, it looks like they're just like an honor guard. Okay. The Academy at Mitros. Academy was formed centuries ago. Great Wizard Damon was one of its founders. Let's see. Philosophical, other intellectual pursuits, and magic school. Temple of the Oracle. The Oracle is a famous water nymph who dwells in the hot springs below a temple south of Astoria. She has the gift of prophecy, and her soothsaying is heeded by the gods and kings alike. Despite her heritage as a daughter of Sidon, she has always had a special fondness for the mortals and is attended by many faithful priests. The Druids of the Oldwood. Deep within the Oldwood is a druid grove ringed by monolithic stones. The Druids are white-clad men and women who wear laurels and wield oaken staves, or staves. They worship the goddess Thalia, the mother goddess, the Titan, and believe that the people of Mitros should have never settled in her heartlands. Okay. The Order of Sidon is that cult who revere the Ocean Titan. They watch for signs from the heavens, lightning strikes. And they don't like the Five, as we established earlier. Oh, this one, I thought this one was neat. The Cult of the Snake. This thieves guild operates in the shadows. They are headquartered deep within the aqueducts. The cultists have recently been breaking into homes of wealthy citizens, stealing everything of value, and leaving entire families petrified. The leader of the cult is someone who calls herself the Lady of Coins. And then... Oh, I was right. Okay. Gigans were once Sidon's favored people. 6-armed giants with a single eye. Once the greatest civilization, the Gigan Empire fell during the First War. The ruins of the empire can be found on countless islands throughout the Cerulean Gulf. The few surviving Gigans keep to themselves but take opportunities for vengeance against the hated settler races. The centaurs are a nomadic people divided into dozens of warring tribes. They exist through the hills. They have a strict code of honor. Yeah, so they're kind of just warring nomadic tribes, I guess. Whew. The Raving Ones are a den of fey creatures who worship Lutheria. On the edges of the Old Wood, west of Atrocos, there is a system of caves where they are said to dwell. They sometimes travel along the roads in the guise of maidens in distress, luring travelers back to the den to be torn apart and devoured in rituals to the goddess of revelry. Liz in chat says, petty fighting, pretty incesty, lots of randos enacting ancient blood feuds. Yep, sounds Greek to me. What? Okay, wait. The Raven Ones are the mothers of the Goatlings, who are born from the union of a satyr and a Maenad. Oh, that's a kind of dryad. Goatlings. Ooh. Okay. Laws of Thalia. Okay. So the big one is like guest friendship. So basically, if you are a guest, you're supposed to be treated well, and you declare it, and there's like a bunch of rules about it. But if you don't, you get cursed, and that's how you can become like a Medusa, for instance. So that's basically it. That's the one law they have here. And then they have some oaths. So oath of peace, oath of protection, oath of service. You know, they're pretty much what they sound like. And if you break them, you get cursed. Mortal curses. You can be a harp. You can become a harpy, Medusa. If you grave rob, you can't eat anymore. Okay. Okay, so let's see. Okay, this is the part I haven't really read too much of. So the legend of creation. Thalia was of the old gods, ancient even when the world was young, gentle and generous. She was born into a time of war and chaos among her kind. Refusing to take sides in their disputes, she lived her entire life in contemplative silence, never speaking a single word. Yet, though she was silent, she possessed a powerful resolve that the other gods sensed and respected. Even Kentamane of the 100 Hands, the most violent and warlike of them all, was drawn to her quiet strength. She alone, of all the gods, could quell his furious temper with her calming spirits. Okay, so eventually she grew tired of all this crap, so she left onto the edge of the ocean. Okay, so she got sad. She went to the ocean, she got sad, and drowned herself. And her death was not a surrender, it was a glorious sacrifice. Her body came apart, her head and torso floating back to the surface to become a chain of isles. Her heart burst from her chest, Jesus, and transformed into a giant tree rising from the center of the continent she had birthed. Her limbs sunk to the bottom of the ocean, stretching and twisting into great roots that connected each island, nurturing the fertile plants and gentle animals that sprang about. Okay. Pardon me. All this talking has got me. All this talking is making me thirsty. Okay. Kentamane was real sad that his wife died. Without her to temper his moods, he succumbed once more to his violent urges, screaming the fury at the heavens, thrashed and raged the oceans, unleashing terrible storms and massive tidal waves. Okay. So, but her spirit survived, so she reached out once again to calm her husband. He calmed down and vowed to protect her forever. Fed by her generous spirit and with Kentamane keeping the evils of the outside world at bay, life in the Forgotten Land flourished into a perfect, unspoiled paradise, and finally, the goddess who never spoke was content. At the start, there were only plants and gentle animals. Okay. Okay, let's see. Together they were happy, but one day, the tree at the center of the islands, the transformed heart of Thylia herself, blossomed with 7 strange fruits, each the size of a boulder. They shimmered and pulsed with vibrant, shifting colors, almost as if alive. Seeing the tempting bounty sprouting from the branches, Kentamane reached from the ocean and plucked the fruit. His 50 heads, I thought he had 100. His 50 heads gorged themselves on the succulent flesh, tearing and chewing until all that remained were 7 spike-covered pits, which he tossed into the ocean. Instead of sinking, the pits floated on the waves, bobbing up and down. Offended by the taunting presence, jeez, dude, get over it. Kentamane seized each pit in a clenched fist, squeezing so hard the spikes bit into his flesh and drew blood. Howling in rage, oh my god, you did it to yourself. He slammed the pits down beneath the water, burying them deep beneath the muddy bottom of the ocean floor. But the next morning, the pits floated back up to the surface. Before he could seize them again, the pits burst open, and the children of Thylia and Kentamane sprang forth into existence. The 100-handed god stared in wonder at his offspring. 8 titans. And there were 7 fruits. Okay. Okay, hold on. Let me read this. 8 titans born from the fruit of Thylia's tree, fertilized by the blood of Kentamane himself. Each of the first 6 pits had incubated a single child, blessed with a different attribute drawn from one of their parents. Strength, beauty, wisdom, craft, prophecy, and swiftness. As these 6 titans grew from the children into adults, they became demigods, each representing the aspect of their parents they most embodied. Okay. However, from the 7th pit, 2 titans were born. Okay. Sidon and Lutheria, twin brother and sister. Sidon embodied his father's raging fury and grew up to become the god of time, okay, and the lord of storms. So, I mean, this is a little weird. It's like, okay, we got the lord of storms, the lady of dreams, and then, kind of like, I don't know. I guess it's not that weird. His sister inherited her mother's stillness and calm. But without her compassion or gentleness. She would become the goddess of death and lady of dreams. But all this was far in the future, and Kentamine did not foresee that his offspring would one day become what would one day become. He could not imagine the strife and suffering the twins would bring to the peaceful islands. If he had known, he might have drowned them on the spot. But instead, he scooped up his children from the waves, including those two, and placed them gently at the base of the great heart tree rising from the center of the island where Thylea could watch over them. Having deposited the children in the warm bosom of their mother, Kentamine returned to the sea and resumed his eternal vigil. Okay, not gonna help. And bound by his sacred vow to keep Thylea and also his children safe from the outside world. But did I miss? Does it say earlier what happened to the other Titans? Okay, well here's something slightly weird. Okay, so here's something weird. It does say that earlier. It says that the five gods all have an aspect of one of the old Titans. So strength, beauty, wisdom, craft, prophecy, and swiftness. But there are only 5 new gods. We're missing prophecy. Right? Strength, war, beauty. There's the beauty lady. Hold on. What are they again? Dawn. Oh, maybe Dawn is prophecy. Forge, craft. Battle, strength. Music is beauty. Yeah, I don't know. Well, okay, so Soup in chat says it doesn't say what happens to the other Titans. I don't think. Also weird, the 5 gods have aspects, but can't be the missing Titans, because some of the 5 gods are children of the others. Right, but it does say that the 5 gods have aspects of the old Titans. It does say that up here. Yeah, the Oracle. Yeah, there is the Oracle, but she's the daughter of Sidon, it says. Let's see, up here. Sorry for all the scrolling. Each of the new gods manifested some portion of the power that had once belonged to the Titans. So, yeah, they're not the Titans, but they're using their powers, sort of, I guess. But also, we're missing one. Except there is a... Okay. It's fine. Mythology doesn't have to make sense. And also, as I, the player, just don't know this stuff. That might be in the GM book. I don't know. Okay. Okie doke. So, creating heroes. Here we go. Dwarves, elves, gnomes, halflings are all descended from the original settlers or an outsider who arrived during the last 5 centuries. So, 500 years ago, kind of traditional fantasy races showed up to help to settle this area, and all the centaurs and satyrs were like, the fuck. So very traditional, kind of the traditional fantasy races. Half elves are the same. There are no orcs, but there are half orcs, and they have existed since its founding. So, and there's just a little community of them. You can be a tiefling, you can be a dragonborn, but nobody likes you. They all think you're weird. Okay. List of names. Always good. And then outsiders. People who shipwreck and end up here. So I guess if you want to be like a tabaxi or something like that, you end up as an outsider. Pardon me. Okay. Some backstories. You know, nothing mechanical here, but just kind of character ideas. Okay. Some new weapons. Ouch. Copus. Yeah, they're Greek weapons. Greek and other weapons. I think Xena had the chakram. I didn't really watch Xena, but I kind of remember that. Okay. And then there is a kind of it's like an augmented background system called Epic Path. And you pick one. And you pick one, and they kind of give you adventure hooks and tasks you can complete, and then you get stuff for doing them. So, and it gives you, if you like Hercules or Kratos, you pick the demigod. You're the child of Pythor, and you have to kind of deal with it. And I get, hold on, let me. And when you accomplish your goal, you get the divine blessing. Pardon me a moment. Okay. So there's a bunch of these. It's something to talk. Oh, the other thing is, every player has to pick a different one. I think there's one that lets you double up on. I think it's like the Lost One. For players who love Narnia. That classic Greek tale, Narnia. So, there's some nice stuff. There's some cool stuff in here. I'm not going to go through all of them. But because it's something you talk about with your GM. And you decide as a group, this is the story I want to kind of tell. The Gifted One. Jason. Daenerys. The Haunted One. Harry Potter, I guess. Marty, can we just start calling half orcs already? Yeah, I don't know if that's, I don't know what the design decision or the lore decision was to just say there are no orcs, but there are half orcs. Is that just because they want you to use half orc stats? Is it because they didn't want full on orcs? They wanted these kind of monster men. I don't mean that. I don't know, like just kind of big, broader, tusked humans that still look human, but I mean like satyrs and stuff. I don't know. Have to ask the people doing this, people making this. Okay, so let's go down here. Okay, so let's talk about the playable races. It throws Thylian in front of all of these. I think because it kind of knew some of these would probably be playable otherwise in other things. So like Centaur. There are Centaurs might even introduced in Wild not Wildmount or Ravnica, I think. And I think they're pretty similar to these. But yeah, they're Centaurs. I read about them earlier. They're Centaurs. People don't like you. They don't like you. People don't like you. You don't like them. Okay. Strength 2, Wiz 1. Humans. Centaurs have a tendency towards good, and that does not come across in anything they have written so far. But and other players can ride you, but climbing is difficult for you. Base walking speed of 40, though. You're real fast. Medusa. Here we go. Medusas. So Medusas are either cursed to be a Medusa or the child of a Medusa. And I don't think you have to be a woman. I don't think it matters. I don't think there's any gender restrictions on any of these. Let's see. Dex by 2, int by 1. Medusa are not born, they are made, except when they're born. Because it says that you can be born. Let's see. Civilized Medusa, tend toward neutral, lawful evil, you're medium. I never care about alignment anyway. I'm not going to be one of those people who's like, alignment is stupid. Alignment is useful in character creation. But I don't think any one, people adhere to one alignment. Kind of society writ large is lawful neutral, and that's kind of the one blanket statement you can kind of make about it, in my opinion. But I do think alignment is helpful for role playing. It helps some players. I wouldn't be beholden to it, but yeah. Let's see. Dark vision. You are cursed. Pardon me. It can only be ended with a wish spell. And if your curse ends, then your race changes to whichever race you were before you became cursed. Usually a human, but I guess if you wanted, you could be a tiefling Medusa. Although you are medium. Weird. Okay. Let's see. Snake hair. You can attack people with your snake hair. And it does a decent amount of damage. 1d6 plus poison damage. Or plus the possibility to poison them. You're better at resisting poison, and you can petrify people. It's a pretty easy con save. But, like, if you have a whole party of Medusae, just start petrifying one person, they're going to fail that save eventually. And it goes up a bit. I mean, dragons aren't going to fail a DC 8 con save, but, Griffin might. Now, and then it gets disadvantage. Yeah, you can do that. Okay. Minotaurs. Okay, yeah, this is something weird about Minotaurs. Okay. Strength 2, Con 1. Minotaurs age the same as humans. They're real big. Base walking speed 40 again. You have advantage on perception checks that rely on smell. Labyrinthine vision. Your eyes are adapted to dark conditions. Dark vision out to 60. You have advantage on... it's a real shame you can't stay soup. You have advantage on skill checks made to solve maze-like puzzles. Oh, Jesus. Additionally, you automatically succeed on saving throws against maze and hypnotic pattern. It's very dumb, and I like it. And you're colorblind. You can see red and gray. Interesting. I guess because you're a bull. And at 5th level, you can turn yourself into a bull. I don't know why you'd want to, but you can. This ability automatically triggers if you suffer prolonged exposure to very bright red. Yeah, I mean, okay. Talk to the creators of this book, Marty. I don't know what to tell you. Well, hold on. What's their deal here? Over 1,000 years ago, it washed ashore. Okay. So they started worshipping a bull. Sidon got mad, cursed them all so they were bull people, or transformed them into bulls. Each of them was harnessed to a plow and forced to tread the same winding geometric pattern until that path became a deep labyrinthine gorge. Eventually the plows broke and the people slowly began to stand upright again, but their faces had been forever minotaured. The people came the Minotaurs, the bulls of Minos. They have never fully shed their bull-like demeanor. I don't know. Wow. Look, I'm not going to be a Minotaur when we play. So I got nothing. Okay, nymphs. There's like a bunch of these. Other nymphs, and you know, like they're nymphs. They're nature spirits, basically. Okay. The mazes thing was also in 354E, one of those. I think there was also they also had something to do with mazes in the Unearthed Arcana for 5E. I think they were super good at mazes. I think they had like maze sense. They couldn't get lost in the maze or something like that. Okay, nymphs. Charisma increases by 2, whiz by 1. They live a long time. 30 feet. You possess unearthly grace. Let's see. Yeah, nymphs are very elfy in this, Liz. Because I mean you can like the thing says you can play all of the kind of classic races, but I think for the most part the book gives you, do you want to play a cursed part? You want to play like a tiefling? Why not look at a Medusa? Do you want to play a dwarf? How about a Minotaur? do you want to play an elf? Why not a dryad? That kind of thing. Let's see. You proficiency in persuasion. You can cast charm person once a day. And then you get, you pick an element you're associated with, basically, and you get some stuff with that. So, breeze and night sky, you get dark vision, advantage on advantage on survival checks when navigating by the stars, and fairy fire, and eventually levitate. Dryad are forests, so you can talk to plants and animals. Survival checks in forested regions. And then Goodberry and Barkskin. Naiads are river spirits. Hold your breath for an hour. Swim speed of 40. Create or destroy water. And control water. And Nereid are stormy seas and oceans. So you can straight up breathe underwater with them. Swim speed of 40. And they can class Fog Cloud and Water Walk. And Oread are rocky crags and snowy peaks. Dark vision. With survival checks in their location of choice. Ooh, Hunter's Mark and Misty Step. I mean, spells-wise, they're all pretty good. I would say the oceany ones probably the least good spell-wise, but a swim speed and being able to hold your breath or straight up breathe underwater, I mean, that's pretty great. Okay, here we go. Here are the Goatmen. Satyrs. Goatmen. I like this Goatmen art though. I like the big horns. I don't know if they look like goat horns, but I like horns in general on people or creature. I like horned creatures. Deer, moose, antelope, and they're satyrs. They're hedonist partiers. Let's see. Dex 2, Charisma 1. Live a long time. Medium, yeah, I guess that makes sense. 30 feet. They have that elf thing that they can't be or harder to charm and can't put them to sleep. Automatic proficiency in one instrument, and you're really good at it. And you get a bunch of spells. Minor illusion, sleep, suggestion. Yeah. Sirens. And they're not, not terrible monsters. It does look like they have bird feet, kind of talon-y hands, and wings attached to their back, I would say. I've been playing a lot of The Witcher lately, and they don't look like this. They're a lot scarier. Charisma by 2, Dex by 1. Medium, walk speed of 30. Celestial. Enthralling voice, advantage on performance and persuasion checks made with your voice. Additionally, your powerful lungs allow you to hold your breath for up to an hour. And this is interesting. I was reading this earlier. So, wavering emotions. Your mood affects your ability to sing and fly. After any short or long rest, you must choose whether you're feeling joyful or sad. While you are feeling sad, you can't fly. But gain songs of sorrow. I just don't feel like flying today. Well, we need you to fly. No. No. Okay. We'll talk about songs of sorrow, but flying speed. But you have to be wearing light armor. I don't do. Hold on. Let me check something. No, not monsters. Damn it. I'm checking Aarakocra. The other race that gets a flying speed out the gate. Let's see. Okay. Man, everybody needs to calm down about flying creatures or flying player characters. You can't use heavy or medium armor. Songs of sorrow. Your lamentations have a powerful effect on anyone who can hear them. Cast Charm Person. When you reach 3rd level, Enthrall. And you can do up to Hold Person. Okay. So that's all of them. That's all the races. Okay. Class archetypes. Okay, so there's, like I said, there's one for each of the core classes. So we'll start, as always, with Barbarian. Herculean path. You're good at wrestling. You get good with a bow, which I like. I like kind of the diversification of, you're not just a melee fighter. Hercules used a bow a lot. Herculean rage. The beginning of you, if you're already raging. Wow. Okay, so your rage becomes even more powerful. Your damage bonus keeps going up and up. And you can create little earthquakes. Yeah. So sorry, you're good at wrestling is basically that one. But Mighty Marksman, you can use strength with longbows, I think, is, yeah. And you can use Thunder Wave when it hits. That's pretty rad. Yeah, I like Barbarians. They're kind of they're one of my go-to fightery types. So I'm interested in this one. This is one of my characters. I want to be a Herculean Barbarian. The Bard, I like Bards, but this one didn't quite catch me. College of Epic Poetry. You tell epics. Epic verses. Starting when you join the college, you begin composing your epic poem. Sorry. I think I got the bot. Stupid bot. Bot in chat. Okay. When certain significant events occur during your travels. Oh, come on. Two bots. No more bots. Okay, let's see. When significant events occur during your travels or combats, you may use your reaction to compose a new epic verse. Significant events are defined by what what style your poem is. And you have to, you can't force them. They have to happen. Someone rolls a nat 1 or a nat 20. Neither of those two are terribly hard to get. Irony, someone fails a saving throw after adding a bardic inspiration die, and someone is reduced to 0 hit points. Yeah, I wouldn't want to pick either of those. So you add a new epic verse. Okay, so basically you're when you have when your poem is a rank 1, nobody can roll below a 2 on your bardic inspiration die. So on and so forth, which ironically makes irony harder and harder. And then additional effects: epic courage, epic foresight, determination, reflexes, resistance. And so your bardic inspiration die. Oh, as long as they have it, that's pretty great. The effect is lost when they roll the die. Gain advantage on saving throws that would frighten you. Epic reflexes is a really good one. You gain resistance to 1 damage type. I mean, you have to have 60 verses. But still, you figure somebody rolls 1 natural 1 a fight. 60 fights? I mean, that's a lot. But still, yeah, like, can you imagine someone getting reduced to 0 hit points 60 times? Then level 6 proficiency with medium armor. And you regain inspiration die if you write something about them. And then you prevent them from dropping to 0 hit points. It's pretty great. You can use your bardic inspiration die to be, I immediately have 8 hit points. Okay. Let's see, prophecy domain. Foreseeing the future, obviously. Let's see. So there are your domain spells. Pretty good ones. I realized I can move my microphone closer to where my actual face is because I'm looking this way to read. Let's see. When you choose this domain, you gain the message cantrip and perception skill. Whenever you use, you can choose one creature you can see. Whenever you cast the divination spell, you can give temp hit points. New mic, yep. I hope it sounds okay. I didn't do too many. I've got it set to. I can increase the volume if I'm too loud, or decrease it if I'm too quiet. Vice versa. I'll make it louder if I'm too loud. Now, if I can make it more quiet, if I'm too loud, increase the volume if I'm too quiet. But I got a little dial here that I was previously just it had been cranked to 0 while it was just sitting here, and I was going to do that every time, but then I might have to finagle it. We'll figure it out. We're testing. Everything's testing. Okay, so prophetic trance, your channel divinity. You get the thing that diviner wizards get. Soup says the mic sounds great, thank you. And Marty says, I guess someone has some kind of fantastic wife or something. I do. She's the best. Yeah, but okay, so channel divinity, you get to do that thing that diviner wizards do. So Hester, if you take a level in prophecy cleric, if you take 2 levels in prophecy cleric, you could bank 4 die. Think about that. As an action. Oh, no, wait. It only lasts 10 minutes. Well, that's a bummer. You could hate me so much. And every time you use a divination spell, you grant temporary hit points. That's pretty great. I don't know what your wisdom is, though. Your wisdom's not high enough to be a cleric, is it? Let me look at Hester's character sheet. No, not my characters. Whoops. My campaigns. Star Chasers. Now you need to dump a bunch of points in wisdom, which would make you an even worse wizard. I mean, that's commitment to the build. Not a worse wizard, but it would forestall increasing your intelligence, which you have done for 2 ability scores now, because you bought 2 feats instead. Okay. Starting at 6th level, I mean, it hasn't slowed you down, not having the highest intelligence. Like, you're doing just fine. Okay. When you ready a spell that does not require a break. Additionally, when one of your allies when you ready a spell that restores hit points, it does not require or break concentration. I think if you ready a spell, like if my ally gets hurt, I cast Healing Word. Do you think you have to maintain concentration on it, even if it's not a concentration spell? So I guess you don't have to do that anymore. That's very specific. It's good, but it's very specific. Additionally, when one of your allies takes damage or fails a saving throw, you may use your reaction to move up to your speed and cast a beneficial spell that only targets your imperiled ally. Okay. Casting time must be reaction, action, or bonus action. You can use this feature twice. Okay. Okay, at 8th level, you get the Life Cleric boon of healing. Does an extra whiz. Life Clerics get that? They get something like that. And you can create little fog clouds. Okay. Okay. Oh, Marty, here's a great new way to build a diviner wizard. You just take a quick 17 level dip in cleric. Starting at 17th level, your prophetic powers are nearly infallible. When you enter your trance, you can replace the result of either d20 with any roll between 1 and 19. And you gain dark vision. And you can see invisible things. Okay. So that's I like clerics a lot. I think that's a pretty cool cleric. Okay, druid. Circle of Sacrifice. Starting at 2nd level, you can perform a sacrificial ritual that pleases the gods. Produce flame. When you make an attack with produce flame, you add your wisdom. It's pretty good. When you reduce a creature to 0, you may choose to immolate them as a sacrificial offering. As the creature is engulfed in flame, you and every ally within 60 feet of the immolated creature gain the effects of Bless. Wow. That's pretty good. I'll burn this man to death. Everybody take a d4. Let's see. So that's interesting. I mean, it's not... It's the Edgelord class. Yes, sacrifice. Yeah, but you're a druid. Like you're the least edgelordy main class. You don't know the sacrifice I've made. I kind of wish they weren't called rituals. I don't know what you would call them, but it's that D&D... And 5e, I'm not saying Wizards doesn't do either. Inspiration, bardic inspiration, where they're using a word that already is a rule. Ritual casting is a thing. Again, okay, Bobby, Billy, it's Bobby, right? What's Robbie? It's Robbie. Sorry, that was in chat. Okay. Oh, now I'm looking at Hester's character sheet again. Okay. Starting at 6th level, you have sprigs of mistletoe represented by a number of d4s equal to your druid level. On your turn, you may use a bonus action to expend one of the sprigs and perform one of the following effects. Okay. You can cast Detect Magic, Cure Wounds. Oh, and without using spell slots. Purify Food and Water, Heroism. Additionally, anytime you cast a spell that restores hit points, I think that's only Cure Wounds, you may expend any number of the sprigs of mistletoe to roll those dice and add them to the number of hit points restored. You regain... Okay, so that's pretty good. So you get one slot. You don't have to spend a spell slot. And it's an amped up Cure Wounds. It's pretty good. Keeper of the Law. I am the law. Now you're Judge Dredd. Starting at 10th level, you're initiated into an ancient order of druidic judges. You are the law. Who keep and enforce the law. Your sprigs of mistletoe increase to d6s. Heroism doesn't heal you, does it? Yeah, it gives you temporary hit points, but not healing. I didn't think so. Oh, wrong button. Again, it's good. It's just... Oh, no. I'm sorry. Anytime you cast a spell that restores hit points... Ew. Okay, it's not it's not just with the rituals. That makes sense. It makes more sense. And it's better than I thought. On your turn, you may use a bonus action to choose one creature you can see. That creature is marked as a sacrificial offering. Dibs. Dibs. Whenever any of your allies hit that creature with an attack, you may use a reaction to spend one of your sprigs of mistletoe, and roll the die and add the result as fire damage. And you can trigger your immolation on your sacrificial offering. And then you get another ritual, Lesser Restoration. Okay. Starting at 14th level, you have studied the stars and memorized the pathways that connect the material plane to the astral plane. Mistletoe increase to D8s. You always have teleportation circle prepared. Okay. I feel like it would take longer than 8 hours to construct a circle of standing stones. But yeah. Yeah, where each stone is 10 feet tall and weighs 1 ton. Whoa, that builds a permanent teleportation circle spell, though. That's way better than teleportation circle, which requires a year of casting it every day to make it permanent. Wow. And your capstone? That's your capstone. Druid is not my favorite class. I like that. I like that a lot. I like castery druids. Although the last time I wanted to play a castery druid, I just played a nature cleric. Or no, I played him. Hold on. What is Krask? Is that his name or is it Throsk? Sarek. Jesus. I have too many lizard people. Oh, no, Sarek is a druid. Okay. I haven't played him in a while. Okay. The Fighter. Hoplite Soldier. Okay. We're going to get through the classes and then I'm probably going to... Oh, wow. Yeah, it's hour 40. And my voice is starting to go. Okay. Hoplite Soldier. Hoplite, let's see. When you as a new fighting style. When you select your fighting style at first level, you may choose this one. Okay, Okay. Sad. I wish I could, Liz. I drank all my water, sadly. I knew I should have brought us. I always got to double up on Andy Makes a Friend. Okay. You know what? Hold on. I just asked Krista for water. Maybe she'll be nice. Oh, she will be nice, but... let's see. When you're wielding a shield, you are alert to attacks made against nearby allies. Whenever a creature attacks an ally within 5 feet of you, you can use reaction to make an attack against them. Okay, so it's kind of like protection, but aggression. You stab somebody who stabbed your friend. That's pretty good. You get an ability called Shield Wall with a bonus action. For 1 minute, you and every ally who can see or hear you gains +2 AC. As long as they are standing within 5 feet of an ally who is using a shield. Okay. And if you have a shield, you get +1 AC. Okay. And it doesn't stack with itself. So max you can get is +3 AC. Spear damage goes up. Cool. And melee attack range goes up to 10 feet. When you make an attack with one of these weapons, you may use a bonus action to make a melee weapon attack with the opposite end of the weapon. This attack uses the same ability modifier, but it does a d4. Okay, so bring your spear end up against somebody. Discipline defense at 10th level. You do a lot of reaction stuff. Okay. When a creature you can see attacks a target other than you that is within 5 feet of you, you can use a reaction to add your proficiency bonus to the target's AC until the beginning of your next turn. That's pretty good. You have to be using a shield. Increased crit range. You can knock away opponents' shields. And if not, you do a little extra damage. Okay. When you take the attack action, you can forgo one of your attacks to attack everybody around you. Okay. Pretty good fighter. They're doing one thing, and they're doing one thing very well. They're a sword and board. Or spear and board, I guess. Okay. Monk. Some monasteries. Okay, so yeah, these are the Eurasian monks we heard about earlier. And you use shields. That's interesting. Okay, so a lot of this is about how shields don't hurt your stuff. Martial arts, unarmored movement, unarmored defense. You can still catch things with them. And opportunity attacks against you are made with disadvantage. That's pretty great. Especially for a monk who can, move all over the battlefield. Starting at 6th level, you have learned new techniques for using shields in the battlefield. Vaulting Strike as a bonus action. You can spend a key point to vault yourself in the air, leaping 15 feet in any direction. If you're wielding a shield, then this leap does not provoke attacks of opportunity. If you take an attack action immediately after leaping, then you have advantage on your first melee attack and increased crit range. Let's see. Whenever a creature makes an opportunity attack against you and misses, you can use your reaction to hit them back as you're moving. It's good too. This is kind of like Captain America the monk. He's going to be able to throw it. Starting in at 11th level, you have learned to think of your shield as an extension of your body. As a reaction, when you are attacked, you spend 1 key point to gain an additional 3 AC, including against the triggering attack so you can cast like a mini shield on yourself at a key point. '17th level, you have advantage on anything that's huge. Okay. And you're immune to frightened from creatures of that size. Okay. Paladin. Oath of the Dragonlord. Oath spells, Hunter's Mark, Find Familiar, Gust of Wind, Levitate, Fly, Haste. Haste is a good one. Freedom of Movement, Stone Skin, Hold Monster, and Telepathic Bond. Okay. Oh, you know, hold on. I think that tells you the oath later, but paladins should have like their little tenants here. When you cast Find Familiar, you summon a pseudo dragon. It's to help you find a dragon egg. And it finds you a dragon egg. But paladin with a familiar, that's pretty good. Okay, channel divinity, you can roar like a dragon. Yeah, things paladins didn't need. Familiars. Familiar and Hunter's Mark. I know there's another paladin who has Hunter's Mark, but jeez. Hold on. Let me try something. I'm gonna do that and see if that works out. Okay. You get frightening presence, basically. Pretty good. Scorn the Unworthy elevates you above eminent creatures a large size. Enemy creatures within 30 feet that are large or smaller must make a charisma saving throw. On a failed save, they fall down. Okay. What's this guy? Doesn't look like a monk. Okay. Here we go. Here's that robot bird. Dragonlords Bond. 7th level, your dragon egg will hatch. You must cast the spell Bond of the Dragonlords while touching the newborn wormling within 24 hours. The dragon wormling is now bonded to you. Additionally, your wormling has hit points equal to... What? What? You get a wormling? So not only do you get a pseudo dragon, now you have a wormling? And at 5th level you straight up have a young dragon? They're metallic dragons. What? Choose from this. Hold on. Spelled metallic wrong, didn't I? This does sound like some shit suit made up. Okay, wait, what colors can we have? Brass, bronze, copper, or silver? Well, silver is probably the best of those, right? Let's see. A young silver dragon is a CR9 creature. It has 168 hit points. It can do 54 damage with cold breath. I have to be reading this wrong. Okay, well, let's see what the spells do for a second. Okay, let's see. Hold on. Spells. Okay, bond to the Dragonlords. You permanently bond with a newly hatched metallic dragon. Blah, blah, blah. Maybe if you confer bond. Dragon that has been bonded. Likewise, the wormlings. Your dragon moves and acts on your initiative. Jeez, okay. You can decide how the dragon moves and attacks. While your dragon is fighting alongside you, it loses its multi-attack feature. Okay. Okay, it can only use a breath weapon once a day. Okay, if your dragon dies, you die. Okay, that's a pretty decent balancing feature. But you can bring it back to life. Okay. Still think that's a little ridiculous. I mean, it's a wormling at 7th level. Yeah, let's see. Well, it's okay. Sorry, it says if you die. It says if the dragon dies, you have 24 hours before you die. So if you can resurrect it, which you can with Dirge of the Dragonlords, you can bring them back to life, and it requires no material components. Oh boy. And then, yeah, when you get to be level 15, you get to ride around a dragon. And you get its resistance. Jesus Christ. Okay, that's pretty crazy. And then at level 20, it's a full-on young. It has no restrictions. And it gets legendary resistance. Okay. Some soup made up bullshit. That's fine. Okay. Ranger. Oh, we're almost out of time. Okay. Let me try and power through these. Okay, so Ranger, Amazonian, it's very Wonder Woman / Xena. I've read this through this. You get some spells. Rangers, that's not, I don't think that's in, maybe it's in a couple of the Ranger subclasses. That's not all Rangers, though. So you automatically get some spells. You get that robot bird. It can look like an eagle, harrier, hawk, kite, osprey, owl, or dinosaur. If you want a robot bird, right here, Liz, you get, and they're pretty cool. They're pretty cool little animal companions. So if you want a robot bird, you want to be an Amazonian. In areas that are open to the sky, you can direct your. I assume that's what an Archaeopteryx is. A little dinosaur. I think that actually is what that might be. Maybe. Just because it's got like spikes, but I don't know. It's kind of got like a frilly little head. It's thanks, Marty. That's very helpful. Yeah. You can let it circle around you for 10 minutes, and it kind of gives you a 1 mile radius report. Acts on your initiative. Okay, and this is how it gets around some animal companion nonsense that rangers usually have to deal with. Hit points equal to 15 plus your ranger level. Adds your proficiency bonus to its attacks. Damage. Saving throws and ability saves. And ability save DCs, sorry. And saving throws. It regains any lost hit points during a long rest, and you build 8 hours to rebuild it. At third level, you gain the ability to enter the legendary frenzy of Amazons by shouting your signature battle cry. Oh, sorry, hold on a second. Thank you. Fresh new water. Okay. On your turn, you use a bonus action to shout your battle cry and enter a frenzy. Your frenzy lasts for 1 minute and grants the following advantages. It ends after you take damage. So that's interesting. It does not last very long. You have advantage on attacks against creatures of your favorite enemy type. Resistance to bludgeoning, slashing, piercing. And advantage on saving throws against being frightened or paralyzed. It's like a little rage. Little barbarian rage. It just doesn't last as long. And you use it wisdom times per day. Bracer reflection. You can use your Wonder Woman bracers. Whenever you would be hit by an attack, you may use your reaction to shield yourself with your bracers. Plus 5 to AC. It's straight up shield. The spell shield. Until the beginning of your next turn, you may use this a number of times equal to your Wiz modifier. Chakram technique. Starting at 7th level, you've learned the famous Amazonian technique of ricocheting your chakram to hit multiple targets. Here's a Captain America thing. You can also throw it at targets that are not in line of sight, such as around corners. You can use your action to make a ranged target against make a ranged attack against one target. If your attack hits, then any number of additional creatures, any number, within 10 feet of that target, make a Dex saving throw using your spell save DC. Each creature that fails takes the same amount of damage. So, it's a thrown weapon that returns to you unless you roll a 1. Pretty good. Your Robot Bird gets better at 11th level. Gains a bonus to AC equal to your proficiency. Here are the stats for it. Pretty good stats. I mean, not pretty good, but immune to fire, poison, and psychic. Perception plus 3. It's going to get more hit points, better armor class. Really fast. Fly speed of 80 feet. Does D6 plus your proficiency and damage. That's pretty good. It's got a ranged attack. It can do psychic damage. Automated helper can carry a single. This is cool. Stimfay can carry a single potion and administer it to any willing creature as an action. And it can use a bonus action to stabilize. I mean, it doesn't have a great check, but still. And it prevents opportunity attacks if it hits with its talons. Okay. At 11th level, the damage becomes magical. And it goes up. That's great. And hit points equal to 30 plus ranger level. Whereas before is 15 plus ranger level? 15 plus ranger level. and you can have the robot bird take damage for you. And it's pretty good. I don't know, that since it takes so long to repair them, I don't know if I'd want to do that a lot. But if you're going to get knocked out and you need just one more round before the cleric can heal you, or your Stimfake can fly over and give you a potion, yeah, like have it fly in front of you, take the hit, and then give you a potion. Okay, starting at 15th level, you know how to attack the pressure. Weirdly, I know I mentioned the monk was kind of Captain America earlier. Weirdly, this ranger is very Falcon Captain America, like Sam Wilson Captain America. You got your bird companion, you can throw bouncing razor shield. You can see the bracers are his wings or his shield. Okay, pressure points. Bonus action, make a special melee attack against one creature. If the attack hits, they make a con save, or they're paralyzed. Or you can it's a Vulcan nerve pinch. Or you can let go, basically, and reverse it. Pretty good. Overall, I like this ranger. I think this is a cool ranger. And Liz, you want that robot bird. You become an Amazonian. The Odyssean rogue. You basically turn into Neji from Naruto. I will take your word. Sorry, I am unfamiliar with Naruto other than that there is some frog pervert. And I'm sure I'm mixing up. Oh, and I know what Naruto looks like. I know Naruto runs. I know one of them has one eye, maybe. His name is Jirachi, or is he the frog pervert? I don't know. Or maybe they're the same. I don't know. Okay. Let's see. You're clever. You're a clever rogue. So you get proficiency with spears. You can use them as finesse weapons. And Jirachi is a Pokemon. I'm close. Who am I thinking of? Oh my god. Hold on. List of Naruto characters. Who am I? I don't know who I'm thinking of. I thought one of them was named Jirachi or Jirai or something. Okay. Okay. You get shields. Well, I don't know. Who I don't know. I really don't know. Okay, yes. The frog pervert is Jiraiya. Jiraiya. That's who I was thinking of. Jirachi. Same thing. Okay, sorry. I gotta get through this. It's over 2 hours now. This was supposed to be a short episode. Thank you again, Marty. Okay. You can use a shield and tridents. On your turn, you may use your bonus action to devise a clever plan to trick an enemy. Choose one creature you can see, make a charisma check, contested by that creature's wisdom check. Insight. If you win the contest, you and your allies have advantage on attacks against the creature until the beginning of your next turn. This feature cannot be used on the same creature more than once per encounter, but you can keep using it on different people, so that's pretty good. And you get advantage, which is great, because it helps your sneak attack. Starting at 6th level, you are famed for your cleverness, to the point where intelligent enemies are extremely wary of you. Creatures who are aware of your presence but cannot see you become too distracted to perform opportunity attacks until they can see you again. Additionally, when you hit a creature with sneak attack, if that creature is concentrating on a spell, they have disadvantage on the roll to maintain it. Ugh, Mage Slayers. Sorry, I had a rogue once, or I DM'd for a rogue once, who just murdered wizards, and he was not fun. He had the Mage Hunter feat. I think it's a feat. It's just Mage Slayer. Ugh, the worst. Okay. Ironically, it keeps saying you're like really intelligent, but all your stuff is going off of charisma, basically. At 13th level, you've survived through so many ordeals. You add your charisma bonus to initiative. So at the beginning of your first turn in combat, you may use a bonus action to take a deep breath and regain hit points equal to your rogue level. You may use this feature a number of times equal to your charisma modifier, and you short rest. Okay, so deep breath, regain 13 hit points. I mean, bonus to initiative this late is probably not the greatest, but the regaining hit points is pretty good. Starting at 17th level, you are able to instantly assess every opportunity to seize an upper hand. Whenever any of your allies make an opportunity attack against a creature, you may choose to make a ranged attack against that same creature with advantage. So, if your friends make an opportunity attack, you get to sneak attack off round, basically. Pretty good. Okay, Demigod Sorcerer. So you pick which divine domain your mom or dad was. They were a god. Your other parent was a mortal. And you get a spell associated with. So it's kind of like Divine Soul Sorcerer does the same thing. But this is a much these are kind of beefy sorcerers. So when you get first level, your godly lineage bestows you with extraordinary strength, proficient in strength saving throws. Additionally, you may choose to add your charisma modifier to melee attacks and damage rolls instead of strength. So you can build a melee sorcerer with this. They get some melee spells like a booming blade and all that stuff. Starting at 6, and then there isn't really there are options for a melee warlock or a melee wizard. There aren't really options for a melee sorcerer. They've done a couple in Unearthed Arcana, but in power. So this is an option if you want to do that. Starting at 6th level. I don't know if it's where your strength will be, but sorry, I feel like now I'm rushing. Starting at 6th level. Echoes of divine power flow through your spells. When you cast a spell, you may spend 1 sorcery point to increase the spell's level by 1. Jeez. You cannot use this feature to increase the spell's level by more than 1. For example, if you use a 5th level slot to cast Fireball as a 5th level spell, you may... That's crazy. You can use 1 sorcery point to increase to a 6th level spell. Because you're still using the... And it doesn't say you have to be able to cast it. That's pretty nuts. Starting at 14th level, your Divine Blood allows you to shrug off the effects that would destroy mere mortals. When you fail a saving throw, you may choose to succeed instead. You get a legendary resistance. And then at 18th level, you can use sorcery points to increase spells by more than one level. Okay. Warlock Patron, the Fates. You can see it's the Fates, a coven of hags known as the Fates. They weave destiny, manipulate fate. Let's see. Expanded spell list. Fate's Binding. You can cast one divination spell without expending a spell slot immediately after completing a short or long rest. Pretty good, especially for a warlock. You have limited spells. If you do so, you gain temporary hit points equal to your warlock level. Minimum 1? Yeah, you have one. Never mind. That minimum of 1 is necessary sometimes. It was unnecessary there. Of course you have one. Minimum of 1 is only necessary for ability modifiers. Of course you have 1 level in Warlock. You have this ability. Sorry. Starting at 6th level, you can call on the Fates to foretell future events. It's the foretelling. It's portents from the Divination Wizard again. Starting at 10th level, the weight of your servitude grows heavy, and the burden only lessens when you help another creature meet its fate. Each time you reduce a creature to 0 hit points, you regain 1 expended spell slot. Wow, okay. You may use this feature twice and regain any expended spell uses when you finish a long rest. Okay, that's pretty good. I don't know what she's supposed to be. Inescapable Fate. Starting at 14th level, you learn to accelerate the entropic power of fate. You can use an action to force a creature you can see to make a wisdom saving throw. If the creature is unaware of your presence, it has disadvantage. If the creature fails the save, choose another creature you can see. The first creature is compelled by fate to move toward the second creature for 1 minute. At the beginning of each of the first creature's turns, if it is not located within 5 feet of the second creature, it takes psychic damage, 2d10, and must use its full movement to move closer to the second creature, dashing if necessary, even if it cannot reach them. This effect ends if either creature is knocked out. Okay, that's pretty... Okay, yeah. I think you could use that cleverly. In Task Force Unlikely's fight a couple weeks ago, that would have been very helpful against Zastam. It would have moved like 1 billion feet to get to y'all. Okay. And finally, and then we'll talk... Okay, so next time, I'll go over the wizard. And then we'll talk about what happens next time. Okay. Academy Philosopher. So I gotta move this thing, because I keep hitting it, and it makes a terrible noise. Okay. Philosophical School. Starting at 2nd level, you choose from one of several philosophical schools. Okay. They advocate. Starting when you choose the school at 2nd level. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Cynics. Okay, so cynicism. Starting when you choose at 2nd level, the gold and time you must spend to copy all of your spells is halved. All spells. That's pretty good. And you can how is that being cynical though? You can forage for 10 minutes or less, or 10 minutes to get components worth 50 gold or less. That's not crazy useful, but learning all spells at half gold and time is pretty good. Eclectics. You learn an additional language. Starting at 5th level, you gain another school. Okay. Empiricism. Let's see. 2nd level, proficient in perception. Identify or detect magic without using spell slots. Epicureanism. There we go. So I'm tired. Starting when you choose this school at 2nd level, creature you can see attacks you. You can use your reaction to impose disadvantage on the attack roll. Pretty good. Into times per day. Starting when you Stoicism, 2nd level, whenever you take damage that reduces you to 0, you may spend a spell slot of 1st level or higher to have 1 hit point. You can be an orc, or a half orc rather. Okay. Sophism, 2nd level, proficiency in persuasion, and double your proficiency, and you get friends. Hedonism. When you regain hit points, you may choose to add twice your wizard level to the number of hit points restored. It's pretty good, considering you don't have that many hit points to begin with. Short or long rest. Skepticism. Starting when you choose the school at 2nd level, you have advantage on ability checks to detect visual illusions or saving throws against illusions and against charms. Advantage against charms. Okay, 6th level. At 6th level, you get mathematical principles. Starting at 6th level, you spend years solving. When you cast a spell that affects other creatures, you may choose a number of them. When you cast a spell that affects other creatures that you can see, you may choose a number of them equal to your int modifier. The chosen creatures automatically succeed on the saving throws. Okay. And they take no damage if they would take half damage. That's pretty good. Automatically succeed. Take no damage if they would take half. So, fireball proof, lightning bolt proof, hypnotic pattern proof. And you can increase or decrease radius. Jeez. Starting at 10th level, you gain new insights into the nature of causality. Whenever a creature casts a spell with a single target that you can see, you can use reaction to choose a new target for the spell. The new target must be legal once you have used this feature. Wow. Okay, yeah. This is some soup bullshit right here, too. And then finally, at 14th level, whenever you would lose concentration on a spell, you may choose to maintain it, as long as you are not incapacitated. Okay, wow. So we went over some lore, the races, and the classes. As you can see, some of the races and classes are pretty good. Get some pretty good features. I have been on for too long. I am losing my voice. So we're going to log off there for tonight. Next time we'll talk about the spells. They're not too crazy. The last couple of things in the document, they're not too crazy. There aren't too many spells, is what I meant to say. The last couple of things in the documents, and maybe I'll talk about some of my character ideas. Because as I said at the beginning, I'll be playing. And then sometime in the future, we'll talk about Dungeon Crawl Classics and the Arthurian setting I was talking about. And I owe everyone another episode of Kids on Brooms. I have not forgotten, but I have not had a chance to continue reading that book. So, that's it. I hope everyone is well. Stay safe. Continue to wear your mask. Continue to wash your hands. Continue to stay distanced when you can. especially going into the holidays. I know it's going to be rough, but we're all in this together, and we're going to get through it. We just have to be smart and safe. Thank you, everybody in chat, for hanging out, and I'll see everybody on Wednesday for Star Chasers. Have a great night, everybody. We love all of you. Bye.